Now we come on the topic of nutrition for prostate enlargement. So earlier I went over the hormones, how the hormones are manufactured and how they convert. And there are two enzymes which I explained, aromatase and 5-alpha reductase, which are these two enzymes here, which interfere with testosterone, and they produce two different hormones. Aromatase will convert testosterone into estrogen, and the enzyme 5-reductase will convert it into DHT, which is a more potent form of testosterone, which creates a few problems. So those two are growth hormones, and they promote the growth and enlargement of prostate. So now, so we're going to go over enzyme blockers, then I'm going to go over liver food, then adrenal food, and a tonic for the adrenal glands to stimulate the production of the hormone DHEA. From DHEA becomes testosterone. So if you don't have production of DHEA, you have no production of testosterone. To have production of DHEA, your adrenal glands must be working, and the stress levels must have lowered, or you've given more food to the adrenal glands so that it can cope with the stress and provide DHEA. Because no DHEA will also do cancer, because DHEA is a cancer inhibitor. It blocks a very important hormone that is needed. So the tonic activates the brain. There's a brain hormone that comes out to tell the adrenal gland, go make DHEA. So there's to talk about the tonic. I'm going to talk about fat burning and why fat burning, what are the risks with high fat, and next I'm going to go over cancer and then the medical intervention, how they do with medical intervention. So if all of this failed, then you can look at medical intervention, but I guess if you do all of this, you might not need to go that route. So on enzyme blockers, what are the enzyme blockers? They are phytoestrogens, estrogens in plants. So what they do is they go and block the aromatase. So aromatase, on a cell, if you have a cell here, there's going to be little receptor points here, like a little docking site, receptor sites. So when the aromatase comes here, it works like estrogen and creates the havoc, the growth. So what do phytoestrogens do? They come and they sit here. So when the aromatase comes, it's blocked. So in other words, it has less effect. So it blocks that. So you have phytoestrogens. Where do you get them from? In supplements, you get them from red clover, or you get them from soy. So these are supplement forms. Where do you get those blockers in the food? You get them from cruciferous foods. Cruciferous foods will be kale, cabbage, Brussels sprouts, broccoli, cauliflower, and you get them from beets as well. And even green tea also helps with that. So this is where you can get your enzyme blockers from the food. The cruciferous foods are needed by the liver. When we come to the liver, this is going to be the same food that is needed. Now, the 5-alpha reductase, which produces DHT, which is the potent testosterone, what are the blockers? Is the herb saw palmetto. You can buy them in supplements. 150 milligrams to 450 milligrams would do the job as the blocker. Lycopene, you can buy the supplements, or you get lycopene in tomatoes. So have a lot of tomatoes for the supply of lycopene. String nettle root also is another blocker. DIM is a supplement, a blocker, and zinc. Very important. Zinc has got a very important role. It blocks the enzyme. It's needed by the testes. It's needed by the prostate. It's needed by the immune system. So zinc is a very important mineral. So at least 15 to 50 milligrams of zinc in your diet as supplements. So where else do you get zinc from? You get zinc from which foods do you get zinc? Rich in zinc is pumpkin seeds, crab meat, oysters, and red meat. Red meat, best organic or grass-fed meat, grass-fed cattle. That gives you the red meat, not red meats, not from red meats where they've put growth hormones in them, and that's all processed meats. So this is where you will get your sources of zinc. Now you've blocked the the process. So that means you're protecting the production of testosterone, so testosterone can be used correctly for the purpose that it's there for. And there's no more of DHC, DHT, and estrogen now. There's less of it, so it's under control. Before I get onto the liver, there's another two things that I need to explain regarding estrogen. Milk. Milk, if there is enlargement, milk should be avoided. The reason milk should be avoided is because milk comes from a cow that has given birth to a calf, and milk has got growth hormones, has got estrogen in it. So the estrogen is for helping the calf grow. So if you're drinking milk, this estrogen is going to become a problem, and it will add to the enlargement. How you can test it is that if you drink milk before going to sleep, and you'll probably find you'll have urine difficulties or passing urine difficulties. So that's just giving an idea that the milk is actually affecting the prostate growth. So this is something, if there's prostate enlargement and you're going through this treatment and you're doing your nutrition thing, stay away from milk. All milk and milk products, which involves cheese, yogurt, cottage cheese, cream cheese, any milk products, avoid them because of the estrogen content. You're trying to reduce the estrogen content and you're not wanting to increase estrogen. That's one. Another thing with the blockers, there's another blocker which you can use, which is lemon. You can use lemon, the full lemon, with the peel and the seed, and blend it. Blend the lemon and drink it as a juice. You can add some stevia to sweeten it, and that acts also as, this one works on the blocker for the 5-alpha reductase that makes DHT. Now the next topic is the liver. So what the liver does, it actually helps to deactivate hormones. So if there's too many hormones, it deactivates them. So it helps to keep the balance of hormones. It has many other functions, but now we're talking in terms of hormones here. This is what the liver does. I have made a video on the liver, how to cleanse the liver. So if you've had liver damage from alcohol, liver damage from toxins, from foods that have got pesticides and herbicides and those things, liver can be damaged from there. One way to fix it, to help it, is with cruciferous foods, which I've given there: kale, cabbage, Brussels sprouts. Lecithin. Lecithin helps with the production of DHEA, which is the hormone before testosterone. Brewer's yeast helps with fixing the liver. The liver can also be cleansed. Cleansed means the liver is like a filter and it's clogged. The way to declog the liver is with dandelion, turmeric, and milk thistle. You can buy those as supplements. So that's one way of liver food, but watch the video, it gives you more detail. Adrenal food. Adrenal glands need omega-3 to produce adrenal hormones. Hormones are steroids. Steroids are oil-based, which you need a high amount of omega-3, a high amount of vitamin B5. Vitamin C, also high amount of B5, B complex, magnesium, protein makes the steroids. Now, there's a product here which I made, which is called Maximize Your Immunity, has got the ingredients of the omega food. So instead of buying omega-3, not omega-3. Omega-3 is separate because that's the oil, you can't have an oil in there. So these are vitamins, B5, C, B complex, it has all these, and has zinc in there as well. It's a high dose of zinc. So this is very good for the adrenal glands because the adrenal glands will help produce DHEA, and adrenal glands is also necessary for stress. So you've got all the stress, the foods for the stress hormones there, and for the immune system as well. So adrenals got to do with the immune system, testosterone, and stress. Now, you can also put a tonic for your adrenal glands, which is ginseng or licorice. What it does, it activates the brain. It gets the brain to tells the brain to tell the adrenal glands to go and produce DHEA. So the healthy adrenal glands, which you get, and by taking this Maximize Your Immunity, it takes care of the stress, DHEA, production of cortisol. Cortisol is an anti-inflammatory. So when the levels of cortisol are down, or when the adrenal glands are under stress now, and it's run out of materials, one will end up having either arthritis, asthma, eczema. So all the different inflammations can start playing out when adrenal glands are not working. Now, fat burning. What's the problem with fat? Fat, the more fat there is, the more estrogen is produced. The more estrogen is produced, the more likelihood there will be cancer, or the onset of cancer. So this is a bit of a dangerous situation in terms of obesity and all that. What can you do to actually stop fat burning? Because where does one make fat? Fat is made when one has a high carb diet, bread, pastas, chips, packaged foods, packaged chips and biscuits and all that. So what it does is it creates a high level of insulin. Insulin is too high, so you have a high level of insulin. How it goes, and from the sugar going high, the insulin goes high. Now your body might need that amount of sugar, but there's so much of sugar there, so insulin will take away the sugar and turn that sugar into fat. Alcohol also turns into sugar, and the sugar turns into fat. So this is how one starts getting obese and starts storing fat. So, and you get that problem. Now when you're eating foods which have got chemicals, pesticides, herbicides, that is another problem. These herbicides and pesticides, what they do, they are zinc blockers. Also using seed processed oils, sunflower oil, canola oil, soya oil, using margarine, made from GMO plants, seeds, that's another problem, which also are they are zinc blockers. They actually remove the zinc from the system. So you've got fat being built, and together with the toxins is a major problem. Why I put these two together is because there's a form of diet that you should get into and consider to get into, which is called a ketogenic diet. A ketogenic diet is a diet which removes all of these sugar-producing foods, and you come out of chemical foods and processed oils. And it's a diet which actually gets your body to start using fat as a form of energy. So instead of using sugar and carbs as a form of energy, you start using the fat and converting the fat into energy. So it's a diet with lots of cruciferous vegetables, omega-3 oils, and proteins, and with some form of fasting. So it's called they're called intermittent fasting. So that is a diet specialized on its own. A lot of information is available for that. Explore that, because that will help with the fat burning and convert it. If you do not handle the fat burning, you'll be blocking all the estrogen with these things. But the body is still making the estrogen. And if you're not removing all the foods that are treated with chemicals and pesticides, the zinc is being blocked. So in other words, all of this doesn't work. So this is a very important part to work on. On cancer, what causes cancer? So if this is not handled and cancer now is setting in now, you need to handle this first, and then handle that and to prevent the cancer. But if it has happened, you handle this, and if the cancer has happened, this is another thing to do. Cancer is actually created by parasites. Parasites affect the DNA. They change the code in the DNA so that the cancer cell can start making its own blood vessel supplies and all that. And parasites have got a role in changing the DNA. So you need to get rid of parasites. You need to have anti-parasitic herbs. And the anti-parasitic herbs that you can buy will have clover in there, green black walnut hulb, olive leaf, and wormwood. So find anti-parasitic products which have got those and get onto an anti-parasitic. Parasites in the blood will do that, will create that problem. And when they die, they release eggs. So you need to keep taking the anti-parasitic herbs until the eggs hatch, and the eggs, now the small worms the small parasites that have come out will also be dying because will die from the herbs. So that eliminates that one, parasites. Vitamin B17 from apricot pips. Vitamin B17 is an anti-cancer vitamin. It helps eat up cancer cells. So you get that from apricot pips. You can buy apricot pips from the health shops. Digestive enzymes, you need to take digestive enzymes on an empty stomach because it needs pancreatic enzymes. Pancreatic enzymes has a property of actually opening up and making accessible the cancer cells for the immune system to attack it. Some colon cleansing as well, which is free of candida. If you've got junk in your colon, it's good to clean the colon and free of candida so that it actually also helps so it doesn't aggravate the immune system. And then you need to build your immune system. The immune system needs to be built. You need to create an army of white blood cells, and you need to reduce the volume of viruses and the volume of parasites and germs. I have videos which I've explained on how to build the immune system. I've got videos on the liver, I've got videos on adrenals, on cancer, fat burning, junk foods, and antioxidants. I've got links for this which I will provide. Now we've come to the end of this video. The last thing which is the last resort is called medical intervention. There's a form of intervention which they do where they actually kill the prostate cells with steam. So what they do is in the urethra, and let's say here's the bladder here, and here's the prostate here. They put a little tube inside that comes through there and then goes into the prostate, and it releases steam. When the steam cools down, the steam releases energy, it releases heat. So the steam turns into water, and the heat now moves into the cells, and it kills the cells. It kills the prostate cells, the overgrowth prostate cell. That's one way of reducing like a mechanical way, a surgical way of removing removing the overgrowth. So the cells are going to die, and the body will do its natural process of removing dead cells, and it will shrink the prostate. So you can also do that. It's a form of non-invasive because there's no surgery that's done. It's just a tube that goes through the urethra, through the penis, through the urethra, and just before the bladder, and it enters the prostate. So that's a form of surgery that you can do. And if that's because it could actually give you instant relief as well, because now it will open up the passage. And while this is happening now, you get onto this treatment, this nutrition treatment, because otherwise, if you don't do anything like this, there will be dead cells here, they would have gone, it will grow up again, and you're going to go back for another surgery. So that's up to you. The decision is based on you. You have to decide if this is enough, if this is troubling you, there's an answer. If it's not troubling you, fine, but at least you know it. And these are your options of treatment that you can choose and do. So we've come to the end of this long video, but I think if you followed it through, I think you get the understanding, a full understanding of how the prostate enlargement works, and what you can do about it. There is some hope that you can make it work, because that will take you back to your ideal state, as I said at the beginning, as if you were young, and you regain your energy levels, because all of these things will come into place and will settle that. Because the enlargement was just a symptom of bad diet, and you just need to find ways of fixing it and get into a good habit of a good diet, less stress, find ways of handling stress, and I guess you'll be okay. Now, if you've gained, I'm sure you've gained a lot out of it. I would like you to share this video or to share this information to others that you know that could have that problem or are having that problem, so that they're aware of it, and to help them live a better life, like you are going to now live a better life if you are in trouble with this problem. Thank you for listening, and I trust to hear from you, and I trust that you will share this video.